How's it going, internets? I hope you're having a lovely day today. Let's get into some animation. Let's start getting that imagination all cranked up, get into some creativity, and let's go ahead and get inspired. And today's inspiration comes from William Vance. And if you're not familiar with his work, check right over here. He is a wonderful artist. I really love his style. I feel like he has a more traditional comic book or golden age illustration take on kind of a Mobius feel to his work. So just check out this piece right here. I really loved this one. I feel like there's a real lightness to the color. You know, just got a splash of blues plus highlights and lowlights in there. But I think it really works really well to sell kind of the mood there with just some lovely lighting throughout. And I really like the rough inking down below too. Really great. Another phenomenal piece. I really like the kind of camera angle that you have that's a little lower looking up there too. It's really adds a little more dynamic appeal to that piece too. And this one I really liked. I like the perspective of that sword there. I like the I would imagine it's snow. It's billowing past these rocks and these trees, and really intense look on the character. And I really like too how he crosses. You got the shoulders angling down and the hips angling up. Really shows that kind of squash on this side and stretch on the other side. Really nice posing overall. Just a wonderful, wonderful artist. So I urge you guys to check out more stuff from him. I'm going to. I know for sure that he's one that I need to definitely study a little bit more. I've only recently come across him, and I think he's phenomenal. I mean, look at this expression and that face right there. That's really, really great. Lovely stuff. But I did want to share a quote that I was able to find from him that says, and again, this is a translation because I don't think English is the primary language that he works with. So he said, "I'm looking for constant improvement of my style because I'm very demanding with myself." And I think that's a great goal to have. It's definitely something that I know I feel I am all the time. I don't like, I don't know. I don't want to say that I don't love what I do, but I always feel like I could have done better. I could do better, and I think that's a good attitude to have. I mean, at some point you have to put the project away and work on the next thing. I think especially while you're learning and growing and everything. But I think that's a good attitude to continually have, to never be satisfied with where you're at and where you are, but always think that you can learn something new, you can grow, you can try a new idea, you can try different things out and continue to push yourself all the time. So let's go ahead and get into the shot that we're going to be playing around with today. And today is going to be a little bit different than most, because we're going to do a lot of setup for our new shot today. And I thought what we do is a two-person kind of attack or skirmish. So you'd have it's kind of I guess a traditional kind of a battle shot that you'd see, where you'd have character A at one side and character B at the other side, and they run in and clash together. So the interesting thing will be, if we want to play with cameras, we could do like an over-the-shoulder camera looking at the other character and back the other way. Could be fun. We might try that. Otherwise, we could just pan from one character to the other and then have a fixed camera once they both hit. Could be interesting as well. Again, this is just kind of the playing around with the ideas, trying to set up how we want to do this shot. And then we'll have to play with some constraints to get, because I want a weapon. I think we'll do a sword in one guy's hand and like a battle axe in the other one, so we have a little bit of contrast there. And we'll have two different runs as well. So there's a lot of stuff that's going to be playing in here. So it's probably going to be, I would guess, a longer shot. This might be a week or more that we work on this shot, just to try and, with only 1 hour increments. It's going to take us a little while because I think there's going to be a lot of detail in here. But I think it'll be fun. So let's go ahead and get started here. So first thing I want to do is I want to go to File, Import. And the reason I left this in, normally I would kind of have the character already imported, but this is a 2-character shot. So I wanted to show you kind of how to build that in a way that works, I think, a little better. So I opened the Goon rig. This is the Goon rig from the How to Cheat in Maya series. I'll throw a link in the description below if you guys want to check it out. And we are using Autodesk Maya 2014 for today's video, but we're gonna, I always open it. I like to open it. Some people import right from the beginning, but when using a file, I usually open it and save a different version. But when ever using secondary characters, I always import that character into my scene. And there's other reasons for doing it different ways, but that's tends to be how I did. So I have the original file, then I duplicated the file and gave it I just called it B, same file name, same file structure and everything there. And so now we're going to import the second one and just hit import there. And if we did that correctly, that should give us 2 copies of the same character here. And that would mean that we could go here. Here we go. Let's try this window. Let's turn the controls off there. There we go. Okay, so we do have 2. Okay. And we'll move that over. Alright. Now the next thing I want to do is I want to change their color a little bit so it's a little more easy to identify which character is which. So let's go into Window Rendering Editors Hypershade, and we gotta find which color goes with which guy here. I think it's gonna be this Goon skin, and color. We'll take this and we'll darken it a little bit more, but I think we'll also flat it. Okay, and then we'll go to this one. Okay, and I'll flatten the color out here, and we'll darken it up even more there. Just so we have some contrast just in looking at the characters, since kind of physically they're pretty close to the same there. Okay, so let's go from there. Now we want them to be looking at each other somewhat, so we'll take this character over here and rotate it in Y. Do just minus 90 degrees. So it's flat on facing him. This character, rotate in Y 90 degrees. It's facing the other one. Probably push it back a little bit more. We're just doing our setup for our shot here. I think that'll probably be maybe a little bit further. Okay. And I'll create a new camera here too. Alright, now the next thing I want to do is I want to create a couple of props. Like I said, I want to do a sword in one hand and kind of a battle axe or a big hammer or something in the other one. So again, we have something that, especially since in this case we're using the same rig, that way we give a little more variation between the two, kind of gives them their own little personality or their own something that defines them, so that they don't feel like it's just 2 of the same thing, which would be hard to tell in any sort of action shot really what was going on if you were just flashing between 2 characters that looked exactly the same. So let's go ahead and first we're just save our file, just since I've done a little bit of work on there. Remember to save multiple versions and to save often. And now let's go ahead and go to create polygon primitives. Let's do a cylinder, and again, these aren't going to be really in-depth props or anything, but just something workable here for us. So do that, and then I'll create, actually I'll move this over Z just for now here, just so I can build these props right in the middle here. And then we'll create a polygon primitives. Let's do a sphere here. cylinder? We'll see. Now let's create a cube for right now. And move that over. Bring that up. And let's look at the edges here. So grab both of those and what is it? B? There we go. Scale them in there. Actually, before we do that, let's do go into polygons, edit mesh, insert edge loop tool. Throw that in there. Throw that in there so we can break it down a little bit more. And let's go back to W. Hit our edges again. Bring that in a little bit here. So they're kind of meeting there. Okay. And these two, bring them in just a little bit there. And I think overall, we'll go back to object mode. Let's skinny this up a little bit more. And I'll shorten that. And let's look at our edges here, or our faces there. And let's make that a little bit bigger here. Okay, and we'll drop that down in there. Go back to faces here. Get a little bit bigger. And let's go back to edit mesh, and we'll go insert edge loop tool again. Throw another one there. I'll go back to object mode. Bring that up. And faces here. Up a little bit. Over a little bit. Bring that down. And go back to faces here. And we're just shift clicking these. And we'll squeeze them in a little bit here. And same with this stuff. We don't need this going so far bulging out. Make sure we're selecting all the correct ones here. And we'll bring those in a little bit more here too. And select everything again. Bring it in a little bit. Again, this is nothing super fancy, and we're kind of trying to do it a little bit quickly so that we can get into kind of the layout of our shot here, but just so we can build some props that are somewhat aesthetically interesting. And let's go edit mesh, insert edge loop tool again. There we go. faces, actually, yeah, back to faces, and we'll grab everything. Make sure we're just grabbing the right stuff that we want. Okay, and we'll make that a little bigger, a little bit downward. Something like that. And we'll grab all these, push it up a little bit more. And it feels a little fat, so let's grab it. Go to object mode, grab this guy, we'll bring it in a little bit more. Grab this guy, we'll bring it in a little bit more here too. And this guy will go a little bit smaller there. And I think we need the hilt to be a little bit longer for those hands, for that hand to grab it. So go back to faces here, grab everything there, and we'll pull it down a little bit more. Alright, I think that'll work. Not, maybe it's a little too fat though. Bring it in a little bit more there. Workable. Again, we'll go move this over here. Grab these faces again on all that. Squeeze them in a little bit more here too. This, move it back. And let's see. Alright, I think it's a workable weapon. Maybe a little bit skinnier. And should we chunk a little divot out of here? That might be kind of fun. So what we could do is look at the edges, or the vertices here. Actually, what we'd have to do is insert edge loop tool there, and probably there, and then go back to vertices, hit W, and then we could grab both of these. You can do it on both sides, I guess. It'll let me grab those, and just squeeze that in, just so we have a little chunk out of it. Do I like it better that way? And then we could grab these ones here and make them a little bit fatter there. Maybe pull this down just a little bit, and pull that up a little bit, and go a little bit wider there too, just for a little more intrigue. I don't know, do I like that or not? Okay, let's get rid of it. No, maybe we didn't. Take a couple steps back, let's throw it, take it out of there. Yeah, I think simpler is better. We'll just keep it simple here. Let's see if that prop seems like it's gonna be big enough to be held by him, or if we need the hilt to be a little bit longer here. Just trying to see about the appropriate size there. Yeah, that should work okay. I can probably go a little bit bigger, but I think we'll keep it like that. So let's go ahead and grab the ball and the top of the sword and the hilt and do Control G. That should group them all together. There we go. Forget that. Let's try a different way. doing. Okay. Grab all of those and make sure the hilt's last, and then we'll go mesh combine, and then we have everything grouped together that way. Yeah, I think that'll be a better way to do it. And then hit so I can get my keyboard out here. 1 second here. Alright. Keyboard's being sticky today. Not sticky, but it's stuck. Okay, and we'll hit insert on our keyboard here. Come on. And we'll move this down so that the controller's right in the middle of the hilt there for where it's going to rotate from. Insert again, so we leave that alone, and now it'll rotate from that point specifically, which will be a little bit better for where we're placing it on the hand. Okay. And we have prop 1 done and character 1 imported, and now let's create prop 2 here. And then yeah, let's go ahead and create prop 2. So create a cylinder here on the ground, and maybe a little bit skinnier, a little bit longer. Yeah, a little bit skinnier still. Alright, and we'll create polygon primitives. Let's do a cube here. Bring that over up. Up to the top there. Make sure it's zeroed out as far as location wise. And we'll go insert edge loop tool here, and there. Alright, that should be enough. Give us some breakdown so we can start doing it. And let's look at the faces here. So make everything bigger at the bottom. Go here, shrink that in a little bit. Let's go ahead and insert another edge loop tool there. And go back to faces here, grab everything around there. Push that out a little bit. Push this in. Let's look at the top here. Push that out. Push this stuff in just a little bit. Yeah, I think it should be a little bit. Go back to object mode here. Yeah, let's make that a little bit longer. Faces here. And bring that down a little bit more. Bring that down a little bit more. Hold on. Make sure I'm just grabbing what I want there. There we go. That in. And let's go ahead and grab our edges here. I think I'll make that a little bit sharper. Okay, and in here as well, and pull that in a little bit more. Maybe we'll create another cylinder here. Put a little. I was thinking a little spike at the bottom, but maybe we'll just do a little more stump at the bottom here. is always fun. I'm not saying I'm great at it, but I always have fun creating props and setting up the scene. I always think that's a good time. And let's go ahead and grab the vertices here at the bottom, and we'll bring those more to a point there. Okay, and let's look now at the hammer itself, and we'll go edit mesh, insert edge loop tool, we'll do one there, and we'll go faces. Actually, let's do another one. Okay, we'll go faces. Go back to object mode. Make sure that I'm just selecting the faces that I want. And we'll push that out a little bit. And a little bit. And we'll grab the outside here. Shrink those, or we could go out too, that could be interesting, but I think I want to shrink them in. Go back to object mode, let's make this a little bit skinnier here. Right. Yeah, it's okay. And let's go back to insert edge loop tool, create a couple more here, and go to faces. What happened there? And I'm making sure that there's kind of a little bit of asymmetry between these. I don't want it to feel too much like the same thing here on both sides. Get all of these. I'll pull them in a little bit. And let's go here to the end. Make that a little bit bigger here. We'll go back. Extend that out a little bit more. Make it a little bit smaller. Alright, I think that's getting pretty close. Maybe we'll throw in another couple of edge loops here. Or let's create another cylinder here. Want that. Create polygon primitive cylinder. Bring that up. Over. Back. Zero it out here. Raise it up. A little bit bigger. And then maybe one more. And bring that one up too. one. And paste another one. And we'll move it to the front here. Just think squaring that off will look a little better. Alright. And is it going to be long enough? I think it should be fine. Alright, we'll go ahead and save our file here real quick. And once it's done here, grab all of this stuff and do edit mesh here. Do it individually, I guess, because I want it to make sure that it combines, and this is the root here. Edit mesh or mesh combine, and then if we do that correctly, we should be able to have that prop. And let's hit insert here, and we'll move that up to a little more towards the middle there, and hit insert again to turn that off. Okay, so we got prop 1 and prop 2. Oh, I might need to move that over a little bit. Okay, that's fine. Hit insert again. And we'll move that over to go hang out with character 2. And for this one, maybe we'll assign a new material on there. I'll put a Lambert and let's go ahead and darken that up even more. So there's a little bit more contrast between there. I think maybe we'll lighten this character up and lighten both of them up a little bit more. So window rendering editors, hypershade. Oh, I already have that window open. Let's just pull it up. Okay. Let's make him a little bit lighter. Let's make this one a little bit lighter too, just so that there's some variation between there. And this guy, let's go ahead and make his weapon a little bit lighter there too. And if we want to add some colors there too, we can, but I think for right now that'll work maybe a little bit lighter. Okay, so let's go ahead and save our file here. And actually, I think I'm going to save an alternate version since we put decent amount of props and everything in here, just in case we come across anything. So I'm just going to pause the broadcast real quick. Okay. So we got character 1 and character 2. Now we want to get the parenting working here. And I think that's what we'll do for now. So let's get our rough pose here. Let's make him with a little more puff out in the chest. A little more like a swashbuckler kind of an attitude. And the other one will give more of like a mongrel horde kind of an attitude. Maybe we could even try something where he's like holding the sword right in front of him. Let's see if that works. Holy warrior, hold it like this. Or should we do something more? Let's go. Let's just go for it. Do more of like an arrow fling swashbuckler style. Yeah, we'll bring this back. our silhouette here. I usually like something like this, so maybe we just need to turn him still a little bit more here. Go ahead and rotate the chest a little bit more. Z here. So we'll keep down, bring that shoulder a little more forward. Neck will have to push a little bit. That way, tilt the head a little bit. We need to tilt the head out a little bit more. Or the neck, right there. There we go. We'll get our prop over here. Bring that over. Down. Rotate over. Let's get our hand pose set up here. And again, this is still really just building the shot. We haven't really done hardly anything for animating, just setting up our file, getting our rough posing to start with, and we'll do our layout here for how we're going to set this up. And pretty sure, actually, just posing the other character and getting our constraints is probably all we're going to be able to hit up for today. We'll see. We'll keep working on this, see how far we can get with the time we got together today. Get that thumb down here and over a little more. And I think this sword should actually rest a little bit lower there. And this hand, I think, do something like that. So I'll keep the, display the fingers a little bit more. Get that thumb out a little bit. And get a little bit of bend in these guys. Try and get a good silhouette out of that pose there. Maybe a little bit of bend in this one too. Yeah, I think that's a good swashbuckling pose. Maybe we'll tip the eyes down a little bit more. Alright. And then let's go ahead and get a layer where I can turn that off for right now. And I'll grab everything here and we'll set our first key on there. We'll turn that back on. We'll go ahead and create a locator. Bring that up, over, and we'll plop it right into the middle of that hand here. Make it a little bit smaller. Don't need it sticking through the hand. Okay, and I'll go window, outliner, show all. Get that locator there. And then we're going to grab the sword and we'll control click the locator and press P on the keyboard to parent those. And then we'll grab the locator itself and shift click the wrist and we'll press P to parent those. And if we did that constraining correctly, it should mean that we can grab this hip and the sword will move with us. Okay, great. Alright, so character 1's kind of posed in there. Let's get character 2. Alright. This guy wanted to have a different attitude, so instantly I'm just gonna make him have a little bit of a hunch. And I think he's the kind of guy that would fight straight on. He wouldn't turn anything, he'd just want to look you straight in the eye. A little bit of intimidation here. So let's drop the hips a little bit. Push the legs out a little bit more. Move this over here. Rotate that way. And this way. Drop the arms down here. And drop the arms down here. Bend them up. And I think I'm gonna do one hand in FK and one hand in IK, I think is what I'm gonna do, so that way I can parent the hand to the battle axe there and parent the battle axe to the other hand. I think it's probably how I'm gonna do it. So let's just already switch this to IK, so I'll turn that on 1. Or it should be the other way around. Yeah, let's do it this way. Okay. I was debating which hand I wanted to be the dominant hand for holding this, but I think if we're swinging, it would read better in camera, swinging from far from camera rather than close to camera. Okay. Bring that over, rotate it in X here. Over there, a little bit more forward, bring that down, and probably a little more this way. Let's drop the shoulders down. Because this would be pretty heavy, so we want the shoulders to be pretty low down there. Bring this hand down, over. And probably rotate that a little more flat there. A silhouette here if I can, so maybe I'll get a little bit more like this. A little bit towards camera. Just so it'll read a little bit better. I just think silhouette-wise that would read a little bit easier by adding a little bit of favoring towards where the camera's looking here. And actually, we'd have this be kind of under it there. The elbow twist going there. And get those fingers start to work here. Thumb over. Just trying to get that right pose that's going to work for us here. I'm getting there. Okay, I think we're getting pretty close now. So it feels like he's really holding it, like there's some weight there. Okay, and bring this one over here. And bring it over. Maybe go a little more like this. Push the spread over. Okay, and look at the back of that. Feels okay. Get that thumb bent over here. Let's see how we're doing with our time here. Still a little bit more time. We can definitely finish this stuff up, but I think that's probably going to be the extent of how much we can do today. But we did good pass so far. I mean, we got our props built, we got our characters in there, we got our starting poses working, we got our constraints in there. So we got some good stuff set up already for this. Well, and this is a big setup day. That's usually how kind of the first day of working on a new shot is. A lot of it's just set up for all the stuff you need to be able to actually get in there and create. So let's finish off this hand pose. Maybe we'll do some face poses to give us something interesting on the faces there. Really lock in this first initial feel of the shot here. Bring that over. Oh, a little bit too far. think that's an okay pose to start with there. Okay, silhouettes throughout. Bring those eye line down here. And I'm going to go ahead and save our file again. And let's create a locator and do our parenting for all this stuff here. Bring that over. Shrink it down a little bit, and then we'll grab this one and control click the locator and press P to parent those together. Then we'll take locator 2 and shift click the battle axe here and hit P to parent those together. If we did that correct, the hand should move the battle axe. Okay, now we need to do another locator and get the stuff working with the other hand. So create a locator here, bring that over, push it so that it's pretty much in that same universal space with the hand and the battle axe over here. Again, shrink it down just so it's not sticking through our mesh and everything here. That's alright. And we'll grab the battle axe here, control click the locator and hit P to parent those together. And we'll grab the locator again on the outliner here and shift click the wrist controller and parent those together. Now if we did everything correctly, we should be able to grab the root on this character and the hand should move, the battle axe should move, and everything should move with everything. Perfect. Alright, so I got that set up, and let's grab this guy, create another layer, turn that off, grab everything here, and we'll set our first key there. Again, turn that on, make sure that we still got everything working. Okay. And the reason I do, rather than parenting directly the hand to the weapon and putting that locator in between, is that it lets you key the hand and key the weapon and still have everything parented, rather the other way around would just let you key one thing, so you wouldn't be able to add any drag into the weapon or get the hand off the weapon for a second or rotate it just so that there's a little bit of movement there. So that's why I do that. You can do it the other way, but I find that this way gives you a few more options for animating. Alright, so let's go ahead and save our file here, and let's go ahead and do those facial poses, and then I think we'll probably be hitting about our time for today's shot. So let's just get into trying to get to know these characters a little bit more. So I think for this character, give him a little bit of an open mouth, and I think I want to jut his jaw forward a little bit. Make him a little more of an angrier character. So I'll give him a little more lower lid here. Push those down. Maybe adventurous look here. See if I can find him here. Alright. So I think he should be ready for the battle. Almost even a little bit excited to fight. So I'll push this one a little bit lower. This one a little bit higher. Rotate the mouth a little bit. Get that lip curl. Up a little bit. Let's push it over more. Raise it up. Get a little bit of lip here. Yeah, let's do a little bit of mouth to the side there as well. And bring those eyes down a little bit more focused on what you'd be looking at here. Okay, gives us at least a place to start from for everything. And then how should we start? I think they almost need to be, I think we could start with something kind of like this. Start with a camera angle like that. Maybe somewhere close to that. And so let's go window. Actually, no, let's do a new camera here. I'll do one that's kind of like this. Maybe a little more dynamic like that. We'll see, something like that. And we'll set that, and then we'll go over here. And we'll create a camera. It's a little more intense, kind of like maybe kind of over the shoulder there. And then we'll probably just flip between the two. So back, haha, something like that maybe. We'll see. But I think we did a okay start here for our shot. We got our characters locked in and imported. We got our props working, and we got our first starting pose. Like I said, this is going to be a longer one because it's going to be twice as much work for every frame because we've got two characters to deal with here. But I think we got a good start here. Let's switch back to our other perspective there. And just for the sake of right now, let's go ahead and bring this guy in a little bit closer so we can kind of stage this a little bit more. Something like that. I think I'll probably push it back out for when we're actually doing the scene so we can get a good few paces of run at each other. There wouldn't be enough to really get something good here. I think that'll work. So let's take a look back at where we started. We're looking at the beautiful work of William Vance. He said, "I'm looking for constant improvement of my style because I'm very demanding of myself. I think if you want to be great, if you want to go out and create and change things and really push medium, you have to be always improving and demanding of yourself. You know, as soon as you put your feet on the ground, be that there's a colloquialism that as soon as you put your feet on the ground, the devil says, "Oh crap, he's up." That kind of idea. Whether you believe in that stuff or not, but just that sentiment behind that. I love you guys a lot. Thanks for hanging out with me. Thanks for all the likes and subscribes. I hope this one you're gonna like. This is a little bit different idea, but it gets 2 characters in there. I think we got a lot of fun stuff to play around with and talk about doing these ones together. So I think that'll wrap it up for today. Good starting bit for laying this shot out, and I think that you guys are great. So go out there and create. I hope you're taking another step in your journey towards mastering whatever medium it is that you're passionate about. And that'll wrap it up because I'm getting rambly. So we will see you for some more animation tomorrow.